Hey everybody, JT Curtis here, and I'm actually doing something that I have never done before. I'm doing a reaction video of the Nostalgia Critic reviewing The Wall. Since this is something that everybody on the internet is talking about, and since this is Pink Floyd, I figured I might as well do a reaction. As you can see, I am a huge Pink Floyd fan. I mean, Dark Side of the Moon, easily one of my top 5 albums of all time. Wish You Were Here, Metal. I don't have The Wall on vinyl, but I do have it on CD. I'll let you in on a little secret. As big of a Pink Floyd fan I am, The Wall is not actually one of my favorite albums of theirs. I still like it a lot, but it doesn't hit me the same way that Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Metal, even The Division Bell does. The Division Bell, I'll probably get some negative comments about that. The Wall is still a towering achievement in terms of rock and roll. The stage show that Pink Floyd did at the time, and of course, the movie. The movie I've probably got some more problems with, so I probably will share some of them with Doug. And while we're at it, I should say that the Nostalgia Critic was actually a big influence of mine in just doing my own videos. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Channel Awesome thing and all these other things. I'm not going to get into any of that, but I understand. I just really want to focus on the video. And with that being said, let's just get right into it. Okay, so they're pretty much just starting it off just like the movie does. Alright, that's pretty clever. Getting like the opening. How do they have the
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Pink Floyd The Wall, or is it Pink Floyd's The Wall? I never know where to put the S there. Is an abstract musical that musician Roger Waters described as a separation between a rock star and his audience. But it's so much more than that, I think. When it came out in 1982, it got mixed reviews and did only okay at the box office. Many saw it as too pretentious and full of itself, saying it's way...
It was just before dusk, one dark weekend evening, while on your way home.
Now that is
when all the critics told you Pink Floyd's Wall was shite, when you thought...
I guess that's supposed to be Corey Taylor's son. Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
And the masses gave thanks as the movie turned to the bargain bin for $3.93.
I have never seen Pink Floyd's The Wall in the bargain bin. If it was, I would buy it. I like that they have the burnt down cigarette all the way down to the knuckle. Which, interesting enough, actually came from when somebody in Pink Floyd first met Syd Barrett. They don't have that little organ thing that Rick Wright does in the original song. There's like this little cool organ thing that he's doing that I've always loved. Having been somebody who's really dissected Pink Floyd songs, 10 years ago I was actually going to do the entire Dark Side of the Moon album. In fact, my video for Time is still up. I shouldn't be too nitpicky on, oh, they're not doing the organ thing here, you know, that's not exactly what David Gilmour's playing on guitar, that's not the bass line, you know, if I keep going on that, it's going to be a losing battle. It is still actually a pretty good recreation of it. I'm just being really nitpicky. I'll try not to be. He actually kind of sounds a little like Bob Geldof. That's pretty good. Well, it's clearly legit. So they're doing kind of an overture. This is all the things you're going to see in the wall, the review of the wall.
Good old Pink Floyd made a movie.
So, full disclosure, I actually did breeze through this review once before, and I was a little surprised to see that it's not so much a review as it's a parody of the film, which is fine. The only thing is, I kind of wish they hadn't just recreated all the songs with different lyrics, because, first of all, I think you're going to piss off a lot of people, because this stuff is a little sacred to a lot of us. Definitely props to trying to recreate it. That is an ambitious, ambitious project. But I kind of almost wish that they had written new songs, like, because I think, if I remember some of the older Nostalgia Critic reviews, like the Moulin Rouge review, I think he wrote a lot of songs for it, or somebody wrote the songs, like that theme song he always plays is from that. But, you know, and naturally they got really nailed with copyright stuff, which I completely sympathize with you.
Every rock star that's wild was a rage-driven child, like in this movie.
I gotta admit, Doug's doing a pretty good job doing Roger Waters. Good job, Doug.
That's why I watch, despite it being so whiny. You see,
Whiny, I don't know. I've heard people say, oh, Pink Floyd's whiny.
Corey! Pay attention. Now what did I just say, Corey?
We don't need no education.
Well, that's grammatically incorrect, so apparently you do need some education.
I've used that joke
School is no
before.
laughing matter.
Can't
you know
lie.
what we teach in these walls? We teach important things you need to know in life. Like algebra, trigonometry, physics, geology, sex ed. Oh, that's right, you have letters that say you don't need to learn that.
Is it just me, or does
It shouldn't
Walter
be too important,
look
especially in the case
a
of that.
lot like Bob Geldof in the movie? He's got the same hairstyle and everything.
Continue to act like the oppressed, and me the oppressor. Rock albums seem to really eat that shit up.
True.
Welcome to high school, where all the teachers are monsters. I know it looks like they want to teach you something, but they don't. They just want to eat you up because we're evil bloods.
Why is he all of a sudden Bela Lugosi?
There are no good teachers. Not one. Not even by accident. Well, maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. I got a high school.
Why is he talking like Bela Lugosi? I don't get it.
Remember that one teacher who seemed cool? He wasn't. He was all part of the plan.
Hey! Who cares? All this bitch is out!
Remember that one teacher who seemed
I'm not gonna lie, I really want to listen to the album right now while this is playing.
That candy was really sugar-coated children's souls! We're so evil! He's on upon the much secret plan to make sure you're more likely to get a job when you're older!
I've heard a lot of criticisms about their production value. I mean, that's really not a very good looking green screen, but I don't know how big their budget is. Having done my own ridiculous stuff, it would be probably a little hypocritical for me to make fun of it.
Except they weren't like these commercials, they were mini documentaries!
Okay, this is too much of this whole...
We really don't see what makes it
I don't know what they're doing here. I really don't.
because we're
They're gonna play his solo? Oh, man. So I know that Rob Scallon did the music for all this. I'm not that familiar with Rob Scallon. I know he's a really, really fantastic guitar player. I've seen some of the things that he does. And it sounds like he's doing some cool stuff with David Gilmour solo. I just wish I could hear it instead of all the Dracula stuff over it. But let's see what happens. Man, Rob's going crazy on it.
Time out. Is this really a World War II reference?
Okay, so here we got Goodbye Blue Sky. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the original film. Gerald Scarfe's animation on this. Every time I listen to this song, I always think of this incredible animation. This not as much, but that's okay. This sounds pretty good, like, production-wise. And some pretty good imagery. I'm good with this.
Of slaughter made it in a film that also sings about how high school lies. Sure, we're all bummed out, but you're losing blood in this movie. So long, Oscar bait song. Smoke a bong and it will feel less wrong. So long, weird song.
Didn't have the bass line right there.
Is that better?
Dude, I don't know what to think while watching that.
Good. That means we're brilliant. Now I'm gonna go do a slow movie song. Haven't we had enough of those? Yeah, but we...
Okay, I've heard this criticism a lot, that Doug doesn't really get the whole meaning of all of this. And yeah, I don't know, that whole sequence seems a little bit self-righteous to me. I get where he's coming from, but see, the whole point of all these things that they're talking about, you know, the education stuff, growing up in the aftermath of World War II, Roger Waters' father who actually died in World War II, all these things, as the song says, it's just another brick in the wall. I think what Roger's trying to say is that there are layers of trauma that comes from growing up, especially at the time that all these people in Britain were growing up with. And I don't know, I think it's a little weird to just say like, oh, you know, sucks to be you, your problems. I don't know, that's kind of weird, but let's see what happens.
So, you're going from World War II, one of the worst things to ever happen,
to bitching about your girlfriend cheating on you?
Hey, it doesn't matter how I'm pained, as long as I'm torturously pained.
Sounds pretty douchey, man.
Again,
Hey, if someone doesn't like my art,
they're about layers of trauma that lead to a breakdown.
they can just skip the scene.
Yeah, fair enough.
You invited me up here to literally watch TV.
I'm a successful musician with millions. How can you expect me to be happy?
This is gonna be another one of those slow movie songs, isn't it?
Yes. I know that. Don't worry, I have a slow movie song here too.
Hey you.
Oh my God! Doesn't this remind you of Jesus?
All right, I'll give him that because Hey You was actually not in the film.
Sorry for me, I'm
And why is it not in the film? I remember them talking about it when I was reading the making of The Wall, but it has always bothered me that Hey You is not in the film. So he does bring up an interesting point, which I do agree with, that there are a lot of slow songs in a row with this album. Side 2, for example, you've got Hey You, which is an incredible song, and then Is There Anybody Out There, which really lent itself great for the stage show because the lights would be going down and it was just fantastic. And then you've got Nobody Home, which is a great song, but at that point we're like, okay, that's 3 slow songs in a row. And then you got Vera, and it's like, it should be noted that Roger Waters said a lot of this film is based on Syd Barrett, who was the original leader of Pink Floyd, for the 2 of you out there who don't know. And if you don't know, Syd, despite being an incredibly talented dude and really kicking off Pink Floyd, had a severe psychotic breakdown, a lot of it due to LSD and drug use, which is why they got David Gilmour. But it really is kind of a tragic story because here's a man with so much talent and so much promise, and he just can't handle it. And that's really also what Roger Waters was going through when he made The Wall. See, the story behind The Wall is so fascinating. You have to go back to the Animals tour, and by that point they had already put out Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here. Pink Floyd was the biggest band in the world, but having come up as a sort of an avant-garde underground band, they really did not like playing in stadiums and having drunk people just yell and scream at them, especially Roger Waters. And this eventually led to Roger Waters spitting on a fan in Montreal on the last night of, I think it was the last night of the tour, I don't remember, and that's where he came up with the idea of having this figurative wall between the audience, and that's basically the crux of The Wall. So, I mean, really when Doug's saying, it's like, hey, you're a rock star, you got millions, what about other people's problems? I mean, as somebody once said, nobody has a patent on pain. Look what happened to Kurt Cobain. I mean, he had everything. He was the leader of this new movement in rock and roll, and he could have anything he wanted, but he rejected it. He spat it out. And it eventually led to him killing himself, because no matter what he did, no matter how much great music and how much fame he achieved and who he got to sleep, well, that's another story, but he just had a lot of problems, a lot of mental problems that no amount of fame or fortune or notoriety was going to be able to help him get over. And really, I mean, this film is very much looking into this very volatile and very dangerous state of mind, which even I myself have gone through. I mean, hell, after my father died, I mean, I went out on tour in Japan. I was playing big theaters, playing Beatles songs, but I'd come off of them and just go, God, I still feel so terrible. I'm making money, I'm doing all these things, but there really is an emptiness somewhere, empty spaces, which they didn't talk about empty spaces either. So, yeah, I think this really is, for all my criticisms of The Wall, the concept is brilliant. It really is. And yes, it's true, there are a lot of slow songs, and there's a lot of things about this album that don't make sense, but you cannot take away from the concept and the gradual, I mean, to me, that's why the first side, the first disc of this album, it's a double album, is the best part of the album, because you see the bricks in the wall as the madness slowly grows until one of my turns happens and it just explodes and just can't take it anymore, and you become comfortably numb. Speaking of which,
Wake up. Are you still awake in that chair? Just keep listening to me.
this is going to be rough to get through, I'm not going to lie.
Ah, shit! He's watching the boring parts of The Wall. Wake him up!
This movie first.
Okay, I like Cinema Snob being Bob Hoskins, that's pretty funny.
You can't be bored while we are singing, unless you don't wanna be seen as deep.
Up until now, I think Doug's been doing a pretty good job singing these, but man, this is a tough one. And believe me, I've sang the song live at many, many venues. It's a tough one to sing. Don't have the harmony, man. My hands felt just like two balloons. Yeah, this is... I do agree with him that a lot of the imagery in this particular sequence is... I would have just rather watched them show the live concert. Really?
Just get through the damn flick with hearing a million.
You know, the thing is, if you're gonna do a parody of a rock and roll staple, and it's been done, I mean, Weird Al has done it with the Kinks' Lola, I mean, so many songs, but they kill it. I mean, it's just the amount of detail and attention that's paid to those songs in Weird Al's versions is really a spectacle to behold. And it's like, here, I appreciate what you're doing, Doug, but it's hard to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
I wish those days weren't just a phase.
Here we go. I'm not gonna rag on Rob too much because, I mean, he doesn't have to play the solos exactly like they... I kind of appreciate that he's doing something different.
This is where I bring people that I don't want other people to see. Now sober up or have an existential conflict. Either works for me.
You know, it's interesting to me that Corey hasn't said anything. You'd think you have him, don't you want him to sing something? Or would have been cool if he had done Young Lust in like a Slipknot kind of way. Okay, this should be interesting. That's a cool shot. I dig that shot. Oh. Nostalgia Critic will be right back.
Hey, you guys like the music in this review? Well, believe it or not, there's an album of it. I'm not even kidding. This was done by Rob Scallon, who appears in the review. He has his own YouTube channel. He's just...
And now it all makes sense. I mean, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't know why I would buy this. I mean, I appreciate it, but I'd rather just buy some of Rob's original music. If he, I'm assuming he has original stuff. Again, where's that organ, man? Alright, stop nitpicking. Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, this is actually pretty timely, I've got to say. I won't tell you who this reminds me of.
I'm the person you all think you know. That soaks up your angst and confusion. I'm that nameless foe.
This is the best part of the film so far, the video so far.
Are there any
Or are they gonna?
in the crowd tonight?
Oh, yes, that's me after everything. Yes.
We'll put them in the wall!
Well, I guess you couldn't say. You know what?
Alright, everyone, let's take our 100% correct opinions to the wall! Oh, son! Oh, so bright! Oh, let's go back in. I don't like that. No.
This is the best part of the video so far.
1, 2, 3,
Are they not doing Run Like Hell? Oh man, you didn't do Run Like Hell? How can you do Pink Floyd's The Wall without Run Like Hell? I mean, I get not including Hey You because that wasn't the original film, but you can't do Run Like Hell. That's only like one of the coolest guitar riffs that David Gilmour came up with. And in terms of this whole theme of, you know, let's take to the internet and let's have all our opinions be known, that would make for a really funny parody. You know, you could just have, you could sing the lyrics as two different guys just arguing about something in a comment section.
You better put your bitch in and get your facts right. You're a butthurt douchebag and your ass is tight. Nice comeback, dick. You kiss your mother with that lip. I saw your mom last night and I watched her strip. Man, if I catch you in the street, I'll beat you all kinds of songs. I wanna send you back to mother with all your shots. You better run.
That would be really fucking funny.
It's us versus them. I don't even know who us or them are. I just want to be angry so I can be among those who hate me. I need their attention.
Again, very timely. Waiting for the what?
Don't fear that you're wrong.
To be fair, I don't know what he's saying in the original one either. They had a little animation. I like, that's pretty deep. That's pretty creative. This is all really good. Like, I think this is very good. One of the things you'll notice is that throughout this, throughout the soundtrack, you can constantly hear the bow now 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 throughout, like, the whole. It's in there. It's even in the trial.
You know, I got places to go.
I think you gotta bring the runtime of this review down. Okay, so is this the trial?
So, Corey, your analysis of Pink Floyd The Wall has led you here. Do you now understand the deeper meaning of... Do you understand the deeper meaning of what it has to say?
He's gonna answer the phone. Come on.
Or is it
I
just
identify
this
with you there,
ego
Corey.
trip in this self-indulgent world that we all live in? Pardon, who is it?
Hello there, critic.
It's Sullivan.
Croft.
Satellite City guy?
Is Lucy Lacemaker there? Is she there? Because I was, well, it's just a
Have you
thing.
found her yet?
Shut the fuck up.
What do you mean is she there? She's a made-up character.
Who is this guy?
Creation all of its credit. It's not like you just shit out the Horcrux that Voldemort never meant to make.
I don't know who this person is.
When you make a character
That looks real and feels real, well...
I mean, they said who Corey was.
line tends to blur, you know.
Who is this?
just don't say anything stupid.
And when I heard you were reviewing the much-to-be-desired Wall, I figured I'd throw my own tuppence. Style over substance, showcasing a bunch of weird creatures and worlds, not a drop of intellectual development. And isn't that the point of a cinematic adaptation? To make a point? Well, it's clear that the music here does that fine on its own. If you're going to adapt an album into a movie, a completely different medium, I dare say, one should adapt it.
She's got a good point there.
So, the visuals are usually praised as the best part. You think you can make a case that the weird characters needed more development?
Alright, here
Each one
comes the
represented
trial.
something deep and meaningful. Fantastic designs and presence. Wouldn't you want more of them? Let me show you. Let me show you what happens when your dreams no longer need you.
They do bring up a very interesting point here, and I do agree with them on this, and that there is some really good imagery in The Wall, the movie, but sometimes it does feel very disconnected to the music. I'll listen to the music and just come up with my own images, although it's usually just the band. Uncomfortably Numb. I mean, I always think of that great sequence in the live show when Roger's in front of the wall, and then as soon as David Gilmour's part comes, you see him on top of the wall with his guitar. That's such an incredible image. which doesn't have that much to do with the meaning of the song itself. The trial is really the moment in the film, and also the album itself, where I kind of just start to lose interest. I get it, it's like, here's all the things that you did wrong, and tear down the wall, expose your feelings. I do agree with him that it's a little bit disconnected. But still, you definitely do have to give Gerald Scarfe his due on an incredible creation that he made.
Right then, Lucy Lacemaker, the court will take a vote on if the film that lays before us can in any way show.
What? I have to just say, this is incredible animation. Whoever's doing this, A+ work, man, but what does this have to do with the wall? Like,
I always said I liked how well made ditty. I will not suffer shitty. Those that bring...
Who's this guy? Why not do computer animation of the schoolmaster, or his wife, or the mother, or the giant ass as the judge? I mean, if it's to showcase this guy's work, I'm assuming that's who was talking earlier. It's incredible work, great creature designs, and I would really like to check out his stuff. But it just feels a little disconnected to this review, which I'm like, I guess that's the point they're trying to go with. But I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Lazy, left in the attic, we're not crazy.
Man, this must have taken a really long time to do. I mean, I really don't want to shit on this that much because, dude, mad skills here, man. This looks incredible. These are probably some of the best special effects you've ever seen in a Nostalgia Critic review. Wasn't he just saying earlier, bring the runtime down?
And your honor, we can take that home.
Getting crazy watching this.
The evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire.
Again, where's the judge? But you're not a judge. I don't get it. I mean, the other one not a judge.
Tear down the wall.
I really don't think they're getting it here. Move on, guys. Come on, let's move on. You're not... That's your effect.
Hey!
That's pretty funny.
Well. Bye.
But that's it? We're stopping there?
Well, yeah, the movie did.
I didn't even get a line. Hell, I didn't even sing a song. What you even
All legitimate points.
The movie ended on such an open vagueness that only makes sense that the review end on such an open vagueness.
It's a review! That's literally the opposite of what that is!
Okay! I liked it fine.
Yeah, me too.
A little
That
more
is the
itself,
best
good
line.
music and imagination.
Fair enough.
So now what?
That's it.
Since you got me, figure I could sing you one of my biggest hits.
It's gonna be a new song from his latest album.
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Orange and yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
That's nothing nonsense, be something you wish.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Good?
I mean, it's not gonna top this.
Check out the album!
That's how... I'm confused. Did Corey... Did he cover SpongeBob, or... Of all the things that he could have played at the end, why SpongeBob? I mean, granted, I know that in the history of rock, we do a lot of weird non sequiturs that don't make sense, which may be the fault of a certain person who's in them. Nick! We acknowledge that they are weird. We still stick to the meat of what it is that we're talking about. I mean, I just sort of feel like, what was the point of the ending there? But I will give him this, though. Here's my actual opinion of the ending of The Wall. It's actually, to me, The Wall is one of the weakest endings of any Pink Floyd album. And I think even Roger said he never really came up with an ending for it, which kind of is part of it. I mean, even at the end, after Outside the Wall, you hear that this is where we came in, or you hear this is where... And if you listen back to the very beginning of the album, we came in. So the idea is that the wall is a never-ending cycle, and that, you know, appear in someone else's wall. So I appreciate that. I just, I feel like musically it does leave a little something to be desired, and this review really left something to be desired. My review of The Wall will be this. The music creates an incredible backdrop and concept for some of these striking images, especially by Gerald Scarfe, to be presented. But above all, it is a very long, very sometimes a little too esoteric, and it's a little just disconnected in places. And part of that is because I think originally they were going to use concert footage of Pink Floyd from their live shows, but the footage didn't really turn out that well because the stage was so dark and they had all these problems and the band was breaking up. Well, Rick was already fired from the band. So I think the film, it has some problems, but it is definitely worth checking out. So with that being said, what do I think of the Nostalgia Critic's review of The Wall? Well, I first of all applaud all the time and effort that went into this. I mean, I could tell they worked really, really hard on this. The music, for the most part, is pretty good. I mean, you know, tackling this material, that is not easy. And for the most part, they do a good job. They miss a couple of little textures here and there. I almost wish I had been brought on as a consultant, but some of the effects, what is Fenna? Fenna's effects at the end were really, really well done, masterfully done, but I was kind of like, okay, can we wrap this up? I mean, they'd have this whole thing about bringing the runtime down. Some of the jokes were funny. I thought the In the Flesh sequence with the and tweeting and all that stuff, that was really funny. I think some of the criticisms that they brought up were fair, and I agreed with. I think some of the concepts, they really didn't know what they were talking about and really misinterpreted. If I could be honest, I really would have rather just seen Doug review the film and just show clips from the film and say, I like this part, I don't like this part. I think that's what I originally thought I was going to see. When I saw it pop up, like, oh wow, The Wall by the Nostalgia Critic, I got to check that out. And then I found out it was a musical parody, which I have to admit I was a little disappointed in. But, I mean, I do, again, applaud all the work that went into it. The thing that boggles my mind is Corey Taylor. I don't really know why he's in the review. I get that he's a rock star and he kind of plays the role of Pink in the review, but, I mean, even Bob Geldof sang in the film. I mean, you had him, why not have him, you know, sing a couple songs? Again, imagine if he had done Young Lust. That would have been really cool. And you can tell that I think Corey does like Pink Floyd and likes the album a lot, but it's just like at the end you just have him do SpongeBob. I mean, that to me is a huge letdown. Was that just meant to be a joke, or was it just meant to kind of troll the audience a little bit, which is fine, or maybe he just really wanted to do that. I don't know. I don't know if maybe Corey had really limited time and they were able to get him. He was a fan of the show. I don't know. I have no idea. But that to me was the biggest head scratcher. But, you know, overall, I'd say I can tell that Doug appreciates the movie and appreciates Pink Floyd. I just would have liked a little bit more substance. I would have liked them to talk about, you know, maybe a little bit of history, although that's kind of my bag, is history of rock. And even I sometimes get a lot of criticisms of, well, why didn't you talk more about this and this, that, and the other thing? And to my defense, we're covering a whole decade worth of music and artists that we're trying to get through. You were only focusing on one specific thing. But I would say I recommend it. I can't really recommend buying the album. I'm sorry, Rob. Rob Scallon, go check his stuff out. He's great. But, yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about it. Thanks for watching this video. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of this review, the reaction. And I got more stuff coming up. I have a single that's going to be released soon. I don't know if it's a single or it's a big, long piece. That is very much like Pink Floyd. But I will see you all next time. Take care.